Welcome back to a corporate time.
So what did the chat room say?
I'm in a bit of a pickle now because I did not know this. In our chat room.
Do you need a nickel?
I do need a nickel. It's my nickel pickle cell. You can join us live Monday through Friday. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. Just search @TomAdan Live. Ghost of Manu Bull in our Twitch chat room said, WWE partnered with the NFL to release licensed championship belts for all 32 teams. And he said, I will be spending $600 on a Falcons belt because it's the only championship they'll ever win. That's pretty cool. I want an NFL WWE Falcons championship belt.
You can make your own for cheaper. I just got one off Trophy Smack.
But it's not officially, it's not an official licensed NFL product.
Daniel wants everything legit.
I want it legit.
If it's not legit, then it'll
her belt is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, all the way down to the snaps on the tail end, which that's what lets you know it's a real wrestling belt. It's got to have enough snaps on the end of it to keep it from flying off Dusty Rhodes' big fat Duke belly. Have you seen her belt? It's awesome.
I have not.
Yeah, want me to bring my belt in?
Yeah, bring your belt in. It's really good.
So, who did we talk to that makes these belts?
We had the guy
from
Extreme.
I actually talked to him about maybe making one for us.
Yeah, we had I mean, wrestling belts are a huge flex in that community.
Yeah.
And it's like spilling over to fantasy football, and then it's spilling over to like real football. Like, are we gonna see guys like my friend Ghost of Manu Bull?
Mahomes has one.
Are we going to see him in the stands slapping the belt? And
Well, I mean, Mahomes has a belt that he was carrying on the bus. I think he had it on the field. I think
that's
pretty
cool.
Super Bowl.
It's
whatever.
fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Although $600 is
it's
lot.
a stinger. That is a lot.
You know?
Well, the NFL, anything NFL is extremely expensive, man.
Yeah.
Go to buy a sweatshirt. Good luck. It's $80.
Yeah, and I guess it's probably commissioned.
It'll have the stupid sticker on it. It'll have the sticker on it.
Yeah. Actually, probably is made in a factory, right?
It absolutely is, but it'll have that stupid little hologram sticker that all your new era hats have that have the little NFL logo, and that sticker is worth its price. It's like the one thing, you put that sticker on anything, it goes up 100% more.
All right, let me ask you this. You have to get the belt when they are champions. If they're not champions, then it's
UCF all over again.
Yeah, okay. You know how I feel about that. And I am UCF alumni, and UCF alumni hate me because I have said how bad of a look it was that we're the champions too. Hey, us. We're the real champions. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please, just stop. And I'm alumni. I graduated from there. A lot of you that are screaming that didn't graduate from there. I graduated from there. It's wrong. Don't do it.
So, because if you get a championship belt and they haven't been champions in the past
ever
5 years,
right.
Whatever, I guess you can get, like, if you...
Well, you say it's intercontinental. You say it's intercontinental.
Well, then what are they the champions of?
Nothing.
Not football. Because there is actually a champion of football, and last year it was the Chiefs. So maybe you have to just wait until your team becomes the champions, and some of you are going to be waiting a long time.
I'm going to
especially Atlanta fans.
This will not be our year.
You may die before you ever get a belt.
Possibly. It might be a little more fun this year, but we ain't going to win. Here's what I would say. You buy it and you shelve it. I do think that buying it and waiting until your team actually wins is a better flex, but
if they never win though, they're just
they're
sitting
not.
up in
They're
your
not.
shelf.
They're not. They're not going to win. They had their
reality
chance.
Of life.
They had their chance, right? It's almost like it came around and we blew it. It came around and we blew it.
I want to win. Everybody wants to win. Well, we lose.
Can't all have belts.
Yeah. There's one winner, and the rest of us are losers.
From our chat room, and I had mentioned this, I think before we even got on the air, we have a listener and a very good friend of the show, and we love her very, very much. And she made her own Philadelphia
you messed it up.
I said Dorf. I don't know why I said Dorf. Philadelphia outfit. Lorian. That's why I can't say it.
It's
the
Philadelphia Eagles themed Mandalorian costume.
Yeah, thank you. And she made it, and now she has other people that are commissioning whatever theirs is. Like the brown DeLorean. A Bronco DeLorean.
Okay.
The Miami Dolphin DeLorean's not bad.
again,
Dolphalorian.
You have to be the type of personality.
You have to be fun. You have to be a fun person.
That you are putting this all
whimsical,
on.
A whimsical person.
And you get enjoyment out of other people getting enjoyment out of you. I don't have that.
So you could have.
You started your career that way.
You could have that.
I like making people laugh, but it's not necessarily.
Well, I think that gene has
yeah,
long since been gone.
You like to shock people with like.
Yeah, there was a whole serious podcast you did this morning. No laughs.
I've never been more serious.
All
fun.
All business. All numbers.
It's about business.
My God.
I made one joke during that, and he wrote it down, and he put a demerit by it, like he was going to garnish my wages. Did you see that?
You can do serious stuff every once in a while.
He'd put a star by it. I'm like,
every
what does that mean?
once in a while, all you do is crap on everyone's fun. You're doing it now. You're like, you have to be this in order to even have joy out of it.
Well,
My God, man.
Hold on, I'm going to blow up your spot. He went to our fantasy football draft, and I'll tell you what, he had on flip-flop shorts and a Dolphin shirt. So it's in there.
I wore a Dolphin shirt.
Don't let him lie to you and act like
by the way,
is all business.
No one else but EJ wore any other.
I had a hat on.
Oh, a hat doesn't
And
count.
I wore my jersey last time.
count.
I wore my jersey last time.
I thought everybody was going to wear some sort of NFL memorabilia.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's fun to do that sort of stuff. You know, like.
Were you mad at yourself when you got there and nobody else was wearing a shirt?
Yeah, well, because then I was like, oh, why did I
should have worn my polo.
Then I got mad at everybody else. I was like, I started,
Fouls
like,
and
no one else was fun. I'm the fun one.
You beat it out of them.
We were trying to impress you. You weren't trying to impress us. It was like the gift of the Magi.
I'll tell you, I may have screwed up here.
Is this when you mumbled from the office, I think I'm a bad parent?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tommy's been doing a couple weird things, and we were like, that's odd.
Well, don't air him out, man.
And then,
don't say, if it's weird, just keep it to yourself.
Does it involve his obsession with his middle finger?
Yeah.
He's been middle fingering cock.
Everything.
So one of them is like, we'll see him randomly swat at something. We're like, what do you do that for?
Lena used to do that. It's imaginary flies.
And then
it's the flies.
And then
he's like taking Lena's medicine. He found it.
He was like talking to Crystal when like in the morning. Crystal will call the boys over like,
boys, supper time.
And then no, she's still like, she'll be laying in bed. She'll wake up, but she'll still be in bed. And she's like, boys, come give me a hug. They'll come give her a hug.
That's what my grandma used to do, except she was smoking.
Charlie the Chocolate Factory.
Come, I cannot walk. Come hug me in bed.
They'll hug her in bed, and then she'll just hug them. And then she heard Tommy say like, hey, just like talking to someone. And then she's like, who are you talking to?
I'm done with this.
So,
I'm never going to your house. Your kid talks to ghosts.
Yeah. Don't worry, I won't tell Mom.
Oh, it's like Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle.
So
is this a Donnie Darko scenario?
So no, we were just like,
does he whisper into his chest?
I wrote it off as kids do weird shit.
We are ACT, bro.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Got serious.
He's having fun now.
I like that. We got him into the fun.
Oh, my God.
See, that's what happens when I break my concentration. I start having fun.
He's like, I can never have fun now. See what happens?
Got too loose. Anyway, sorry about that. I pride myself in not understanding what show I
I did it 3 times last week.
This week's starting out crazy.
Last week, every day was Thursday.
Anyway, I started to think maybe we're letting him play the damn VR too much. Because
I thought they didn't like it.
Well, how does that correlate?
Well, okay, I'll explain. He started now he's playing. He got into this game called Gorilla Tag on VR.
I played Gorilla Tag,
and
I used to play that in the locker room.
And so he plays it with Becca and then some other kids that he knows.
Yeah.
And then I put the VR headset on. First, I had to lower the volume of it because the kids are screaming.
Goddamn hip-hop is so loud in my ears.
No, it's not about that. It's about what the kids are screaming. And the kids are just screaming the F word.
Yeah, the N-word,
not the N-word, but it's not that. We make that, I think that's for old, these are younger kids.
You know, Xbox is N-word, VR is F-word. Yeah.
They're definitely saying the S-word or pushing the limits. Anyway, so I turn the volume down. I'm like, all right, if you don't hear them, that's fine.
We have other other children that play Gorilla Tag.
Okay, yeah.
We have their parents in the chat room.
And then I settled that it was fine if you play it with people you know, and then you're just hanging out with kids in a digital world.
Hanging out with kids in a digital world.
By the way, I'm just justifying everything I do at this point. It's a bit of laziness,
How you're like
pure
hanging
laziness.
out with kids in a digital world.
I could force them to do work, and I could do a lot of other good parenting hard work, and I'm not choosing to do that. I'm letting the VR be my parent.
I'm glad you're finally admitting it.
So anyway, but we still limit the time, although it does tell you that there's a age limit that is suggested, which I thought kind of like PG-13. It was loose based on
it's 13.
It's
13 plus, I think, right?
And I thought that was more of a PG-13 type of recommendation. You're right, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My gosh, swallowed
The first thing that pops up when I put Gorilla Tag Game Parents Guide on the Reddit, it says immediately, this game is definitely for players over the age of 13 due to a reason. It is very hard to moderate voice chat, and VR can affect eyesight.
Well,
that's the first thing that's listed.
I think that's what he's concerned about. The imaginary flies he swats. I'm picking up what you're laying down here. Dr. Danny's here.
And to move in Gorilla Tag, you have to run like a gorilla.
You have to do your hands.
You have to do the arms. Oh, I'm gonna play this when I get home. I'm playing this.
All you are is a torso. You have no legs.
Look how good I am.
I remember when I got on there. First, I got on there, and the kids
I paid money to see that.
The kids are yelling.
Come on, we need TikTok content. What are you doing?
You don't have gorilla shoulders. You got to be able to do this.
And then everybody's running around, and I'm like, how do I move? And Tommy's like, you have to use your gorilla fist to move.
You can't do that.
And then I'm all slow.
Because your shoulder. You're a hurt gorilla. Injured gorilla.
I'm just sitting there. I'm trying to drag myself, drag my torso.
Like the bicycle girl from Walking Dead, the first episode.
And then he's like, you got to run like you're punching a
speed bag.
A speed bag, but down. Anyway.
I think I could crush it this
So
game.
I did what every old man does. I'm like, this is not for me. It was stupid. And then, but then
dismiss it, move on.
And we have time limits. The boys are getting nefarious when it comes to learning how to get beyond the time limits we set, which we thought were impervious to.
Well, how are you doing? Are you guys the barrier? Because that's the problem.
Well, we set their their iPads, the VR. You can only do it through Alexa. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't actually physically turn off, but their iPads and the phones will.
Right.
Like, you set it where it turns off after 1 hour, and then it just goes to a code screen.
Yeah, nothing.
They can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Which we realize is better is easier for us as a parent than telling them to stop.
Yeah.
Because then they get mad at us. If the computer just stops, then it's like the computer did it for us, and then they can only be mad at the computer, not us.
It's like, sorry, not us. Your computer parents get mad at them. You have to write Robo Mommy.
So listen, I'm just telling the truth. Don't get mad at me.
Is anybody judging you here? I don't believe so.
I mean, I'm judging. I'm not getting mad.
She's not saying anything.
It's your
about
kid.
It. I mean, she's judging it, but she's not saying it.
I would judge myself.
Right.
But a lot of people.
I'm not getting mad. I'm just
not affected by it at all.
I scan the environment. A lot of people are doing this too.
Right.
Like,
you guys are making animals.
I would love to have my daughter play VR. She doesn't.
Well, you're not. The more research I'm doing, you really shouldn't. Any game they shouldn't be playing on VR for too much because it's not good for
their eyeballs,
motor skills.
I thought an hour was fine based on no
research. It's just like
I just thought an hour of anything can't be that bad.
I mean, an hour of radiation. You'll be all right. You'll live.
Yeah.
You'll live.
You may get cancer way down the line.
I think your papa probably walked around in Hiroshima for an hour with his best bros high five and having a Bud regular.
He did. He told me.
And he lived to be 90s, whatever the F. So, I mean, an hour of anything is probably okay. I feel what you're saying here.
Now, maybe if you walked in Hiroshima every day
for
an hour,
and then you started doing your hands like gorillas on Hiroshima and exposing your hands to the earth radiation.
So I'm taking the VR back to the studio, and
you're gonna end up.
We told them, we were like, it's the company.
You told
VR.
them, just take it away.
Wait, so what was going on with the whispering?
We think it was him because then they
talking
learned
to the gorillas in his mind. It's the mind gorillas.
Don't
worry, gorillas. I'll get out of here.
We allowed him to chat once he was just with his friends and cousin, and then that you chat within the gorilla game. And I think he was just his brain is screwed up.
Don't worry.
I screwed his brain up.
I love you more than I love my parents' gorilla friends.
So I just got to take it away from him, and his brain will
and
go
see
back.
what happens. You got to see what
It'll
happens.
go back. It always goes back.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. That's the good thing about human brains. You can screw them up.
Yeah, it's
but
like a
they'll-
rubber
So
band.
you don't know what he was whispering. You're not investigating that at all. You're just like, oh, it must be the game.
The past.
Yeah.
He's
It's
a
the
goddamn
past.
Sixth Sense kid, and you don't even know.
It's the past.
No, I think he was just whispering. Like he got confused over if
Yeah.
he was in reality or VR.
Okay, Sam. If I were going to
Screwed his
kill,
brain
if
up.
I were going to kill my parents, I would whisper to my gorilla friends the plan. That's what I would do.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that anybody else out there that's letting their 9-year-old. Again, also because he was 9, I was like 9, 13. I was playing the
Yeah,
game.
but how long's he been playing it? Over a year already?
Since he was about 3 and a half. No, I think in the last year.
Yeah, because he wasn't into it until he learned that he can go in there with because he
He likes the social aspect, right?
Yes, and that's what I've learned about all
Because
these
it's
games.
easier for him to be social in that environment because he
Yes.
likes to hide with the hoodie.
Yes.
Makes
Oh,
sense to
no,
me.
he's going to be an
They,
incel.
they didn't like. I think a lot of just introvert extrovert. It's
Yeah.
like I think it's a 50-50 in society, or more. There's more introverts than extroverts. I think. in
Like Maisie was
society,
talking
right?
to me this morning about how she knows her friends. Like, this is a real conversation we had this morning at breakfast, where we were talking about like practicing, and Maisie was like, "A lot of my friends don't like to go in front of the class and read."
Sure.
And I go, "Can you go in front of the class and read?" And she says, "Yeah, I like it." She's like, "But Daddy," and this is her, not me. She goes, "But I get on stage. I like being up there."
Right.
I mean, she already knows. Like, she already
Yeah.
knows what she's doing, and she
Yeah.
already knows what she's comfortable with. And those guys that aren't comfortable with it, they know too.
Yeah, Max is
He's a performer.
He doesn't mind. He's in breakdancing
He enjoys
class.
it.
He's in the middle of the circle.
Like when they say we need a
like-
volunteer. Maisie and Max's hands go up. Tommy,
Oh,
you don't even know where Tommy's at.
oh.
You can't find him.
I know what that feels like. I was like
Yeah.
that my entire life. It was make me a fly on the wall.
I
But
know.
it's like him. I didn't want to be picked. I didn't want to be in front of the class. I didn't want the attention. I don't want to be on stage. And,
Yeah.
and so I relate to that
Sure.
feeling. But I also think he can work on it. And I constantly tell him the only way that you're going to get better at this is by forcing yourself to
give it a shot.
You just keep doing it. He didn't want to go to that painting class though, because he didn't want to.
But he did it.
Everybody to judge his painting, or like he didn't want to have everybody look at.
Yeah.
and
One day I feel like
yeah.
that, and it's for me even too. Like I'm like May, where I like to get on the stage, but with it comes even I think more anxiety than even she has. Like she benefited from Andrea, right?
Yeah.
So she's like a version of me. Like I do enjoy performing. I like making people laugh, or there's no reason why I would do this, right? But not as much as May does. Like when I see her, like I have a barrier there that I have to work hard to get past. I don't think she has it, which is good. I mean, there's good things that come with it.
Speaking of PG-13, two things. One, we watched again as a family. Who Framed Roger
I
Rabbit?
saw that,
Yes,
and I was
and
concerned.
watching that,
I was
man.
concerned.
And
Because the last time you watched it,
They were little though.
it
thought.
was, 2 years ago?
something like that.
Or so, and you said that you traumatized at least Tommy, maybe both, Tommy and Max, with the Judge Doom death scene.
Yeah. Then we.
So when you were taking your dad photos on your Nokia phone on your couch, saying the fam's watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I'm like, now did he forget that they watched this movie already?
They knew, and
It's like a favorite,
they were
right?
They were a bit like it affected them less, and it is kind of goofy. When we watched I remember watching that when I was too young, I think, and being scared of when he got ran over by the steamroller.
How does it hit now?
What, to them?
No, to you.
Oh, I'm laughing at that. I watched this probably too young, but there is something inside me that is like, oh my, like it's the guy is getting smushed alive,
Yeah.
and he's screaming, and then it smushes his head.
That's outside one of the Warner Brothers.
They dunk a shoe in acid.
Yeah. Oh, I love those when the cartoons die. Those are always the funniest ones.
Oh yeah. Well, he literally dunks a pleading for his life cute shoe into
Kills
acid
him.
and kills him.
Straight murder.
Then we watched the second day Indiana Jones and the what was the first one? What is it called?
Temple of Indiana Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, which again, the ratings were different in the 80s.
Right.
So it was
Were there
rated
boobies?
PG.
Were there boobies?
No, just a lot of violence and death.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of.
And it's also Middle Eastern people, and we didn't care, right? Like, they kill them and like, they fly off the cliff, and
well, it's more.
or no,
like,
Nazis.
There's Nazis, yeah,
Yeah.
but there's like you.
If it's a bad guy, I feel like they were like all in and killing him.
yeah, oh, they've like shot in the
Oh, yeah,
head.
yeah.
Like bullets
If it's
to
a
the head.
terrorist or something, they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
But also like the you know, in the temples, the zombie like, you know, they the dead body comes popping out and it's riddled with
maggots
arrows.
and arrows.
Yeah,
and...
because it's left over from the last trap that killed, you know.
Right.
And although the actual masks look so ridiculous in '81 that we were telling the boys, like, look how rubber, and they kind of laughed at how rubber mask it was, but it was like, it's violent.
I remember watching Raiders of the Lost Ark with my dad.
Yeah.
And it got me a little bit. I was like, this is not
Yeah.
something I should be watching. I was like, blood.
Yeah.
Blood.
So anyway,
The heart scene in Temple of Doom got me real bad too.
I think I thought Temple of Doom was way worse, and I think it is.
The heart scene.
But yeah.
The heart scene got me. I was like, what?
We were too young.
I
to
was
probably,
affected by it.
because it came out in '81, and we probably watched it. Like I wasn't born until '82. So I must have watched this at 5 years old or so, 6 years old. I don't know. Who
Yeah.
knows? You know, there was no rules in my house.
No.
So I mean, I don't know when.
So you're keeping that trend, huh?
Well, 8 and 9. The thing is, it's like, how coddled do I want to?
Right.
Like, they don't experience any adversity or any trauma outside of
It's
these
hard.
shows and movies. You know, like me and Crystal, I'm not kicking down the door drunk and kicking the dog around or.
Right.
You know, like there's.
Yeah, I don't think it's harming them. If you're
Trauma's
with
not always violence and abuse.
No, it's
No, I know,
not.
yeah.
It's not.
But I'm just saying, they
but
don't-
everything.
You make those examples a lot, and there's other forms of trauma.
There
that,
is, but
you
there's
know.
also, we live in a time now where we're even get some of our best, like, I feel like now there is some pushback on what you're saying is absolutely correct. You know, not all trauma comes in your standard forms, but also not everything is trauma.
Yeah.
And there's a balance of that.
And 8 and 9, they're not 3 and 4.
Well, I think the
It's like-
important part is you're
it's like-
there to watch it with them and kind of answer any questions
Yeah.
they might have, right?
I mean,
that's kind of, I never had that luxury, right? So normally anything I was watching was never with my parents. If I was watching something that was hyper scary that I didn't understand, I was probably sneaking.
We don't know what they're seeing on YouTube. So.
I mean, they're not seeing anything, horrible. Like, I know my sons, and they're not being exposed to something. They would tell us, too, especially Tommy. And Max would, like, and I kind of want to toughen them up a little bit as they get older. Like, I don't know when you do that. I mean, I know there's probably a more healthy way to do it, but it's like, well, watching Indiana Jones with them doesn't seem like I'm exposing them to something traumatic that's
No, I
going
don't
to affect
think so.
the rest of their life.
Because you're there to explain it to them.
Yeah, and we're like, this is fake, this is movie,
Yeah, like,
no one said that to me when I
Again,
watched it.
those are the things I would like to do.
At 6.
You know, like I would like to enjoy those type of movies. It's just not. I mean, we'll talk about it on the BDM show. But Maisie went to her first theater movie.
Yeah.
Like, even articulating that on this show makes me feel like a weirdo. Like, because people are like, oh, how old is she? And I'm like, 8, and they're like, whoa. What are you, Jehovah's Witness? Or like people want to ask me, like, oh, religious guy, right? I'm like, no, not something she's typically asking to do. That's all. You know, nothing real.
Yeah. If she would have asked her begging Daniel and Andrew to
I've
take,
wanted to go
take her to
before.
a movie,
I've asked her to go before.
It's
She's
not
like,
there.
nah, I'm not interested. All
Yeah.
right.
She's into hard work and dance, and like my sons aren't into hard work and dance, or committing themselves to something now 5 days a week. You know, I wish
Right.
they were. All kids are different. They're
Yeah.
all, it's like-
Absolutely.
but I'm constantly trying to understand how I can make them more well-adjusted, and I don't know. I mean, who knows?
It's hard.
I'm sure there's.
I think you're doing a good job. All we can do is
it's like-
question it and try to continue to do what we do.
It's just you create a stable environment for them. That's seems to be a big one about right. Just an environment where they're not constantly scared of the next thing that's going to happen, or they don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Well, they
or
don't
they're
have
on the
that.
schedule,
What you're
or-
talking about, they
Yeah,
don't even
yeah,
have.
no,
They're
no, it's like-
well-adjusted guys.
So then it's like, all right, what's the next thing? Like showing them this movie. How bad is it? Doesn't seem that bad, and it seems like they should understand that there's violence in movies and what it is, or I don't know. At
Yeah,
8,
May,
9,
I see with
Dude,
May. We gotta take a break, but I see with May, like I see like a complete and utter like almost like a flippant attitude with things that isn't like me, where she'll be like, "Oh yeah, he died," and I'm like, "Oh," like it should like, but maybe we're not there yet to talk about that. I don't know.
But she's a logical like Andrea though too. You know what I'm saying? And then
She is.
And then someone's super
Less
logical,
emotional than me.
yeah, then
Right.
Yeah,
We got to take a quick break. We're coming back, right?
Yep, we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk to Mike from Mike's weather page about this hurricane that's in the
Hey.
Gulf right now, because it's on everybody's feed and we know it's top of mind.
Yes,
So
sir.
we will be right back.
I think this was starting though, right? Yeah.
No, this was
it's
Monday
not-
too. So
Monday
Oh,
too. Yeah,
shit.
yeah. That's what I meant. Like, yeah, but it's fine.
We'll just cut that.
Here, let's just start it again.
cut
Just-
that little tail end off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we'll
sorry.
say, just say,
Just say we'll be
Yeah,
right back.
we'll be right back. Here we go. 3.
We will be right back. Sorry, I lost track of the.
No, you're fine. We're trying to fit it in, and it's been a recording morning. All right, that is. So we have Mike now.
Yeah, he has the link. So
Cool. That is 2. We do have an edit in that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's comfortable. We're
took me
comfortable.
off guard because
did,
you
'cause you
said it
never
and then you
do it.
didn't acknowledge it, and I was like,
I got Mike.
oh no.
All right, let me save that, and then I'll put him in.
It threw me off doing that. I did a lot of talking in
It's
the morning.
okay.
And
We'll
there's
get used to it because I do think we should probably do that again because it was good. Mike, what's up, buddy?
Hey, good. What's up?
You probably can't see us. Sorry. Hold on one second. There we go. Hey, man. Very good to see you. You look great as always. How's the family and the puppies? Everybody good?
Oh, puppies are awesome.
They're so
Family's getting a little mad at me because I'm going to leave them here for the
cute.
hurricane.
Yeah. We
again.
figured that. Well, hey. I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, this
That's
you
like
can't be
it's-
more busy.
It's
I'm
like
sure.
being married to Dog the Bounty Hunter when a fugitive's on the loose. You know.
Right. I'm a first responder.
You
I
got to
tell
do it. You got to do it. And everybody knows when you marry Mike from Mike's weather page, he's married to the weather as well,
Yeah.
right? I feel like there's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
romantic song in here some country music guy should sing for you, man.
I like the weather. It blows, man.
All right, we will not waste your time. You want to bring our start us?
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2. Oh, hold on. That did not work right. 3.
Is this for today?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
this
be
for
for
today.
tonight. Yeah.
for tonight.
Welcome to A Corporate Tom and Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Let's get right to it. There's a storm in the Gulf. It's
I wanted you to go. There's a storm a coming.
it's on everybody's news feed,
It
and
is.
to get the information correct,
The correct information, the most timely information.
we talked to Mike from Mike's weather page. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, doing great over here in Tampa Bay. Getting ready for another I-named storm.
I know, right? What is up with that, man? It
That-
seems.
Yeah, that's on social media everywhere. Like, what's up with the I name story? Everybody's
What's up with that?
and
I
so
know it. I mean, originally this was the most underhyped system a couple days ago. You know, everybody was blowing it off, and I've been trying to figure out what's going on because it was almost, I think we're in hurricane hangover from last year that nobody even wants to talk about it.
Right.
You know, but it's real. I mean, we got a major hurricane. They just, it's coming down to Florida. We got hurricane warnings up. It's storm surge warnings. We could see some of the biggest impacts, even without a direct hit where I live. We could see the biggest impacts with surge. Maybe this area has seen in like 100 years.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I heard you saying like it hasn't been like they haven't seen anything like this since like 1921, right? You were saying.
Yeah, right. We had a direct hit north of us, and we had a storm called Tropical Storm Ada a couple years ago, and it was only 3 to 5 foot surge, and there was hundreds of homes that were flooded.
Right.
We have a super moon on Tuesday,
Yeah.
which is rare. It's one of the biggest moons, and that raises tides. And the angle of a storm coming to our side, and we don't have to have a direct hit to have high surge. The way that the storms spin and the way that the angle. So they're definitely stressing that. The National Hurricane Center doing a great job. I just don't think people in Pinellas, I don't think they realize that we're going to be seeing this happen. Like I said, this is tomorrow night, so it's like
Right.
I don't feel the panic like I felt in other storms. It's like, okay,
Snuck up on us, yeah.
Mike, is this a case with the supermoon and with everything? The chat room's kind of buzzing about that, and we heard you mention that just a second ago. Is this a case of like almost the angle, the size of the storm, the supermoon, tides, everything just being almost a best case, worst case for it to hit?
Yeah, well, the current track, it would still be, a certain amount of miles off the coast, so it wouldn't be like the worst case. But, man, I'm reading a lot of Mets, a little worried that this front that's coming down might not be that, it's a timing thing. So if the front digs a little deeper and it's going to turn our system a little bit more, my biggest thing is looking back at history, and we had 3 storms, Charlie, Irma, and Ian. All were expected to hit Tampa, and then they turned at the last second and went south. This one's about the same trajectory to the west. So if this thing turns like those 3 turned, it could be closer to Tampa Bay. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, crap. So, I'm glad I'm seeing other meteorologists say that because I feel like I'm hyping. But just my gut feeling of what I've seen with strong hurricanes coming up, they tend to lean to the right, to the east. And that would be bad.
So, Mike, let's talk about that because that's what I wanted to ask you is about storm history and can we garner any information of how storms reacted in the past to how they're going to react now? Because I can't determine with weather whether you can look at the history and things will tend to repeat themselves, or every single storm is like a roulette spin, and depending on like
Truly
the high
unique,
pressure
yeah.
or the weather at that current time is going to react differently every time, or is there any correlation to how those past storms have acted?
I think, the gut feelings that old timers have definitely are true. So yeah, I think reading, like, I got a good friend here, Paul Delegato, he's the chief Met for Channel 13.
Yeah, man.
And he just kind of mentioned, hey, listen, it's not a forecast, but here's why this could happen because of history, and that's what turned Ian was an approaching front. So yeah, I do believe there's a lot of history, and strong storms do what they want. This thing's going to rapidly intensify, and that's what's got everybody concerned. And I'll tell you, the biggest threat for a storm like this, it's going to be fast moving. It's still going to be deepening pressures when it makes landfall. So we're going to see effects way inland. We're going to have hurricanes all the way to the Jacksonville coast, South Georgia coast. So everybody gets focused on that landfall, but they forget that this thing's going to be hauling the mail, and we're going to have hurricane conditions all the way to the Atlantic. And that means a lot of power outages. Yeah. Places that haven't seen a storm in a while, there's a lot of trees that are going to go down. This isn't hype, and they're already showing rainfall 10 inches plus in a lot of spots. So it's real. It's a real deal. There's going to be a lot of folks caught off guard because this thing's going to be here tomorrow night.
So, Mike, let's talk about intensity. What are they projecting it's going to hit landfall at what intensity?
They bumped it up to major. That was the big debate yesterday. They kind of downplayed it a little bit, and then now it's officially supposed to be a major hurricane at landfall, which is 115 their miles per hour. There are models that are showing higher, lower pressure, and that's always a concern, is this rapid intensification. There's been 10 hurricanes that have hit the United States that have been 150 miles an hour plus winds, and nine of those 10 were tropical storms just 3 days away. And that's the most amazing fact to me, is how in 3 days' time a storm can go from nothing to a Cat 4 or a Cat 5. So this rapid intensification is what they're worried about, and we're dealing with water temperatures in the Gulf. They're not groundbreaking, but they're 3 to 4 to 5 degrees more than they've ever been. And so we're looking back at storms like Andrew and Charlie and Irma. Right. The water temperatures now are warmer, and that's got a lot of people wondering, like, will that be the fuel that makes this thing really blow up at the last second?
And traditionally, that's the case, right? I mean, we can't predict that, obviously, and what happens, but
the warmer the water, the more intensity of the storm, right?
It's hot. It's
yeah.
I did a TikTok and took my thermometer out there, and don't laugh at me. I love my TikTok now, but
no, I'm glad
following
you're on
you
it.
now.
Yeah, I got you. I'm following you too, man. I mean, that's the fastest way to get you.
I tell old timers out there, like, what do you? I'm like, I love TikTok. I go to bed. My wife hates it because I fall asleep with the same repetitive,
No. And you're like, oh, Mike's at it again.
Oh, no. He's doing the no-no song.
I got a screen burn on my phone, believe it or not. I got all the little things on my phone. It's like the old school monitors.
Yeah.
That's how addicted I am.
Wow, you're in there, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Mike, but what category are we talking about that it's predicted to hit?
3 right now. That's a major. So of course, they've never predicted 4s or 5s really this, far out. So Michael and Ian and Ida, they've all intensified last second. So there's a little bit of worry that this could follow suit. I mean, that's just what you can't really predict that. You just got to go back to what you said earlier. We kind of look at history and we know that these storms rapidly intensify at the last second. So, yeah, and that skirt to Tampa Bay is just so scary because little wiggle closer, and with that high tide Tuesday, it could be bad. So it sucks, man. I just let the dogs out, and I'm looking around. I gotta put my chairs up again, and I'm like, this is crap, man. We just did this. People get tired of it. I'm like, oh my god, another storm.
That's
coming.
the scary part.
So Mike, going back to the models, and you're right in the fact that we have some evidence of how these storms have reacted in the past, and then the model says they're going to hit a little more north, and they end up hitting south, especially coming off the Gulf. Is that something where maybe because all these models are software, they take history data and they put it in there, and then they predict, all right, we predict because of where the fronts are coming, the storm's going to go here. But could there be a small problem with the model or like a inaccuracy that maybe is in the model, and then that's causing, it's not like maybe the data from the front is not being inputted as well, and so then that maybe the model is actually off a little bit, and then therefore storms are hitting more south than the models are showing, and that could be a predictor of what we're going to see until the model fixes itself. I don't know. I'm no data scientist, but that kind of makes sense to me. What do you think about
100%. Listen, last year, Ian, the GFS is the American model, and it was so skewed to the west that it actually shifted the NHC cone and made the panhandle in the cone, and everybody was like, this thing's going to go that direction. Well, I look at a lot of things like the ensembles of the Euro, and there was more showing Southwest Florida. But you're right, that GFS was so skewed last year, and a lot of people relied on that model. It put out, in my opinion, almost affected the outcome of some of maybe people that stayed behind, unfortunately, with Ian, because too many people put stock into that GFS model, and it was wrong, and it was messing things up. The edge of the cone of Ian. Everybody focuses on this cone, and I sound like a broken record, but the cone is anywhere that eye can go, not the effects of the storm. And what happened with Ian, they were on the very bottom of that edge of the eye, and I mean, living there, you're like, oh, it's going to Tampa. And my wife said it yesterday. I asked her, I said, you want me to get you guys a room? And first thing she said is, no, we're on the edge. So the problem with that cone is people in Fort Myers saw that edge.
How does your wife not know this?
That's a problem
She
with
doesn't
wives.
listen
man.
to you.
Wives don't listen to husbands, man.
I'll tell my wife
This writes itself.
about the podcast business. She'd be like, I don't know
Well,
about that.
that's different.
No need.
I was like, what? Anyway, sorry. Mike.
So that's what happened last year, and a lot of folks down there didn't take it serious because they thought it was coming to Tampa. So
Right.
But hey, don't laugh. So the story yesterday, I don't know if you saw my social media post. I heard this weird voice in the house, right? And I'm like,
Tommy.
what is that? It was my wife watching Dennis Phillips live. The meteorologist.
Hold on.
That is
It's like a cheating on you.
absurd.
What are you doing in
Well,
here?
offended. Then she asked me a question. I said, ask Dennis.
You know what it is, Mike? I think it's because our wives.
They're sick of you.
No, well, they see us in non-business situations, and then that skews their perception of how good we are. So because then they're like,
God.
Mike's a fun guy. He likes his dogs and his beer, and he's hanging out.
My wife sees me try to navigate my email, and then she's like, "Well, I don't trust anything this guy's saying at all. Like,
That's fair, though.
You can't even get into his bank account. How much does he
Mike,
know?
don't let him compare himself to you. That's a dangerous game you don't want to play.
No, I love you guys.
So
I actually had somebody last night. I was ranting about something. They're like, hey, when are you going to be on Tom and Dan? And That was funny that you texted me. I'm like, that was funny.
Our guys love you, man.
Yeah,
They
well-
love you so much. Because you give us the real information. You kind of cut through the BS.
So, Mike, I'm curious on what your method is right now. So, there's a storm. This is when your social media gets the most attention, of course.
We're
and
wasting his time right now.
No, I know, and I feel.
He wants to be on TikTok.
I know, man. This guy's got some stuff to do.
I even feel bad texting you, Mike, because even last night I'm like, Mike is busier than
Yeah.
I can imagine right now, like sitting in front of his computer, waiting for the next model to come out. So what is your process? Like, you just wait till the next model comes out and then you tell you're following about it?
Well, I flew out of Texas last week because I was so bored. I followed that storm Harold, and I even typed out there. I says, "Looks like I'm chasing a storm at home." So I look long range. Like I feel like I'm on the downhill slide of the roller coaster now. Kind of feel like we kind of know where it's going right now. I don't feel as stressed, but I look at models, I look at data, I look at ensembles, we look at trends. I look at upper steering. I've gotten to the point where I kind of halfway feel like I know what I'm talking about, and I look at weather patterns, and so that's what we do. We start digesting the future, and I throw that out there, and sometimes I go out on a limb, and this storm is particular. I was predicting, not predicting, just saying we could see something bad and
Right.
why, but the hypers come out, and this storm more than ever, I've had more darts thrown at me than ever, and I think it's just people didn't want to think of reality, like we're dealing with it again. So I get it that people are drawn away from the bad scenario, and then obviously I become a hyper, but now it's like it is going to be a major hurricane.
Right.
The warning's out there. I feel like my job's complete.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling. But,
Well, you did what you could, and you can't force people to take what you
Right.
say seriously. And a lot of people can get fatigued when you're dealing with this stuff over and over. That's the problem with humans, right? Is that the voice of reason, you're yelling it all day long. Sometimes
And we have short memories,
yeah,
right?
and sometimes the voice of reason isn't what we want to deal with at the time, So keep doing what you're doing, man. I mean, we certainly appreciate it. I know they do too.
Well, Mike, let's end with this. So right now, where is it predicted to have landfall?
North of Tampa Bay. They call that area the Big Bend area. Not so much the Panhandle, like the touristy parts of the Panhandle. You got to remember, storms. The west side of the storm, the left side is usually not that bad. So all the heaviest actions to the east side. So it is kind of hitting a lower populated area. Never to say that's good. It's just as far as where that surge is at. There are some cities, Crystal River, Homosassa Springs. Then inland, we got a lot of cities inland: Gainesville, Tallahassee area, Jacksonville. So I think the storyline with this, even if it goes in that Big Bend, is going to be the effects inland as it kind of goes through Jacksonville and then ends up off the Carolina coast.
Yeah.
But like they're warning, it's a teeny weeny little wiggle, and then that serious stuff on the side of the east side of a storm is the rough stuff, and that's what could really come into Tampa Bay in the West Coast Central. So we've never really had a skirt, and that's always been the fear, is a storm that passes without a direct landfall.
And one of the weird psychologies behind, we've all dealt with this our entire lives living in Florida, and for some reason, and we've talked about this before, Mike, it feels like you get so mad at yourself when you prepare. And you like, let's say you leave your house, you move your boat, you do all this preparation, and it doesn't, and then all of a sudden it's like a light tropical storm and some
you feel like
wind
you
and rain,
wasted your time,
and you feel like you're like, oh well, I'm never doing this again.
That's flawed human logic, man.
And then but what is worse, and this is 100% true, is that if you do not prepare and it hits you with maximum strength, that you will regret that way worse than over preparing for nothing. Yeah. And it almost takes that experience to learn that. But
and that's
I'm
coming from a guy who hates preparation. If he's saying it, then listen.
And because because now we're talking about an insane amount of financial loss.
Everything you have
could be dangerous. Like there's a lots of
Do we really need any more disasters to remind us that these things could be dangerous? You hesitate for a second in Maui or whatever. Like, this is a hurricane. You got time.
You got
time.
The problem is you go to the effort of moving your boat and doing all this stuff, and then it misses you. And
sorry,
that feeling,
that's life.
No, I know, but it hurts so bad when that happens, and you're just like,
no, I get it. I'm in the same boat.
You're there.
I'm tired of it. Yeah, I'm like, And that's the problem. That's the thing that scares me more than anything is that our area is evacuated so many times. I just think people are numb to it. And one day we're going to get to one, like you said, and it's going to be like crap. So we've had a lot of cry wolves. People are just sick of it. I totally get it as human. I mean, I don't even want. I was out there. I didn't even want to bring the lawn chairs in. That's how lazy I am. I'm like, I'm gonna leave them out here. Flying projectiles.
It's like almost like a protest, right?
It is that, Mike, and it's so hard to battle past that. But you got to keep telling yourself, like, there's no reason.
Better be safe than sorry. There's a reason that's a saying.
We appreciate you doing that, man. We know that you bring a lot of people, the most amount of people, like just real weather knowledge, and we love you and we appreciate the hell out of you, man, and the fact that you do that for all of us, and we will heed your warnings, and we hope all of our listeners will as well.
And if you want a place that all these models are all curated into one site, is spaghettimodels.com.
That is Mike.
It's Mike's weather page, and it's all the models. They're updated frequently. Of course, follow Mike on Facebook at Mike's weather page
and TikTok.
Get it on TikTok. And then you get up-to-date information. That's not. It's not sensationalized, because a lot of times you watch, and there's nothing against the news, and I think the news is getting better, and I think Mike would probably agree. But if you really look at it, objectively from afar, it's a lot of red and skull and crossbones and imagery, and it's like, well, they want to make money, so it's a lot of
use
that.
the knowledge and be smart. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, that's the one thing I get the most compliments. People just want to be presented with facts and kind of decide for yourself. I mean,
sure.
That's been my thing. Here's the data. You decide what you want to do with
it. If I see one more CGI stop sign waving and then flying off, and then it's like, well, what is that supposed to mean? CGI stop sign? Get out of here, news. Anyway, Mike, we appreciate it.
Appreciate it. I'll be out streaming, by the way. So all your listeners, if they want to watch me, I'll be out this YouTube and Facebook.
For sure.
I'll be in my truck, man. I got everything ready to go.
Hey, we'll share it as much as we
Mike
can.
The storm
Stay safe out there.
He'll be in the thick of it.
Be safe, and we'll follow you, okay?
I text my wife. I'm gonna get in a new American flag and pull. And
My God.
Why'd you do that to Mike?
It was an accidental mow. I'm sorry. I shot the mow sound effect at you.
That's okay. But my goal is to have. I'm gonna be the new hurricane man with the flag meme out there in the storm.
Right.
Okay.
We should give him a Tom and Dan flag.
We'll make that
I
happen.
got the hat. I'll bring the hat.
All right, man.
Well, Mike, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, everybody. Thank you.
All right, man. Be good. That is Mike from Mike's Weather Page, live from his little weather station in his home.
Yeah, just stay informed, and I know it's a pain to prep for all this, but it is better.
It's for your own good.
You are going to be much more kicking yourself in the ass if you do not prepare, and then you get your
just take it seriously.
It ruins your life.
We're not saying get crazy about
expensive, just move your boat or whatever,
or buy some toilet paper and water, or
if you're in a storm surge area, just go
away,
go inland, and
better than being trapped,
and wait 24 hours. Anyway, all right, we will be right back.
Okay. Is it lunchtime?
Yeah, but let me get an intro.
Yes.
We should also send, if we have any left, Mike a bucket hat. I saw him rocking one last night on the stream.
Yeah. We will definitely do that.
All right, guys, have a good lunch. We're going to go record a few little things, and we'll be back. Wait, what do we have?
No, we got BDM and OG after lunch, so we'll be on Facebook.
But then we do go back to, we don't have that guy today?
What guy?
I thought we had the voiceover dude.
Nope, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow? Oh, I was looking at Tuesday. All right, we'll see you over